She'll actually be here at our November meeting.
Oh, all right.
So will I.
The other assessor's husband, Lisa's husband, is stage 4 bone cancer and probably not gonna make it that long, but anyway, she's gonna resign. So Deb has hired a new young gal, I don't remember the name, Heidi.
I don't remember her
Heidi,
name.
I think.
Heidi, anyway,
Heidi.
she's coming to introduce her new assistant, so.
All right, I'll be here. Thank you.
Anything else?
I just have a couple things to add. Todd, I sent you the public hearing, notice for, we have a proposed zoning text amendment, for accessory buildings, and that'll be, I just sent it to you
Oh,
today.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I've seen
so,
it.
so if you could get that in next, Thursday's Lakeview paper, so we can meet our deadline.
Yeah.
And then just a couple follow-up things, for the zoning board of appeals. Larry, we talked a little bit about, we don't have any alternate members on there. And if ever a conflict comes up, there should be alternates, to sub in. So that's something you guys as a board, need to address. And then also, I've taken the position as recording secretary on there, and I'd like to have access to the records, previous meeting minutes, so I can get the website updated. So I think Larry said, Todd, you should have a file somewhere.
I do, I think I've given that to Phil.
So anyways, I would like to set a day to come in here and get all that, and planning commission too, while we're on that subject, cause we've been trying to get all of those together. We only have till, since 2019, I think.
Talking planning commission minutes or Cato minutes?
Oh,
I'm only talking,
And the zoning board of
Oh,
appeals.
sorry.
so I'm the secretary for both planning commission and zoning board of appeals, and I don't have anything for zoning board of appeals. I think for planning commission minutes, we can go back to 2019, but, for the zoning board of appeals, I don't have anything. So I'd like to set a day to come in here and get all that organized.
Okay, I'm not gonna have anything on zoning board of appeals.
yeah, has it,
I don't have anything.
Dwayne has his
There's no,
Everything I can,
He might have one.
everything I have, I mean, I've given to Brandy,
Yeah.
and I know you've done some research when it came back to some of our dates that we were, you know,
I
initial,
know.
and I don't have those, I don't have those reports, I mean, I just don't, and we're just trying to get the site.
I understand, but I know I gave you all the PC minutes that I have.
well, Todd, you had said you had gone back all the way to, what was it, 2008 to determine our terms, so you must have had some planning commission meeting minutes
Yeah,
from there.
I do have some of that, but I think I'm not giving that to you?
No. No,
Okay.
Okay,
absolutely not.
so you would have some planning commission minutes pre-2019, but you're
Right.
saying you don't have anything for the zoning board of appeals?
No, not anything.
I think probably Dwayne has those, I thought he was sending those, it used to be when, Louis didn't send out a check unless he had the minutes. And
So-
I assumed that you had those, maybe I'm thinking I was giving them to you.
So there's no box or old Louis file cabinet? I think Joyce, you told me once there was an old file cabinet in there that was Louis in that back.
Yeah.
Is there, I mean, has anybody gone through that? I mean, I'm saying I'm willing to come in for an afternoon and work on this, but
I can open that door and find out after we're done here what's in there,
And you?
and
Oh.
over there, the file cabinet.
I doubt if there's anything in there.
I can look.
that's all.
Anybody else?
Matt Hubbard, Cato Township. Todd, was it 50,000 and 150,000 that we're gonna spend on the trail?
Yeah, we got 50,000.
So all the HARPA money that we've got, we're gonna spend on the trail.
We got 50,000 from Macon County a while back. Today we were awarded another 150,000. Yes, that 200,000 goes to the trail. The Meyer Foundation is giving us an additional 100,000.
And is there any site plans for the trail yet?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. There's a couple, 3 different options.
The same options that I seen 3 months ago?
Yep.
Okay, you just said there's 50,000, 100,000, 150,000, but didn't you earlier denote that the additional 92,000 was going to the trail
No,
in previous meeting minutes?
no, that's going to roads and roof,
What's that?
going to the roads and the roof. We're spending $35,000 roughly on the roof here, and we're putting the rest toward, we just.
Okay, I understand the first 90,000, what about the second 90,000? I thought that and the
That'll
50,000
be
were
going,
denoted to
that'll be going towards roads mostly.
the trail.
No,
No.
none of that's going towards the trail.
None of the ARPA
We
money is going to
committed
the trail?
$7,500 when we formed our joint commission with the DDA and Lakeview.
Okay, what did you just say again?
We committed $7,500 each, Cato Township, DDA, and Village of Lakeview, when we formed our commission to, put the trail committee together.
Remember that?
$7,500 each, that's it. That was our commitment to do the engineer report and the study.
And now we're doing the 50,000 also.
That came from the county.
I know, but that's our money.
No,
No, that's
Because-
commissioner,
But
Pat
it-
Connor gave him 50.
It wasn't
and we
specific
just gave
to
him
the
another
trail
100.
though, right? The
They
50
got
was anything you
200
guys
from
saw
the
fit
Loncom County You Commission. do right up what you're.
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
we had to make a
That was
request.
the township.
for the 50.
It's
They
separate
handed that out to
Right,
everybody.
but we had to make a written request and turn in the project that we intended to do. The county was willing to give it out for parks and outdoor recreation and COVID mitigation. We actually asked for 200 and they gave us, 150.
I kinda got cut off a little bit, but I guess I was just thinking of more of a plan than a sketch on a piece of paper. Cause that's what I've seen, a sketch with 3 options and you're not sure what the options are.
No,
I mean, we've got a lot of money, and it's a great idea, the trail is a great idea, but
We've seen 3 different layouts of how the project could work. This was before we got one dime. We allocated $7,500 each
yep,
to
I
do
understand that.
engineering and see if it could even be done. I think we have 3 versions of how it could be constructed.
But them are sketches on a piece of paper.
That's not what I saw, but.
I was here when Node showed me. There were sketches on paper, it's not a site plan.
Irregardless,
We're spending $300,000 on a trail, which is a great idea. But we have nothing but a sketch.
I mean, we're not moving forward with anything, we just got our funding,
We just got the funding, we didn't think we
just
could
got
get
the
it.
funding.
Isn't it true though, EPA and Eagle, I mean, you're on the lake, they can't move forward until the engineering's done.
Right.
They're gonna tell you soil samples, they're gonna tell you what the soil is, what backfill you need, if any, that will have to come next. And that isn't gonna be up to these guys, it's gonna be up to the EPA and Eagle.
The only, Todd and, Lindsay are on, there's a committee
Yeah.
along with the village.
Node's on it.
That's doing the site plans and stuff, contacting the DNR and all, like you say, Ben, and everything, that's all gotta be done before a shovel of dirt is moved.
I guess, I work construction, Jordan, you do too, so you got 3 options, and you're gonna have the engineer or these guys go look at 3 different options, and that's gonna cost more, you know, that's 3 different, I guess I thought we would probably
Well,
narrow it down to.
We were gonna have a meeting, that was a couple weeks ago, and, Darren got sick, so we didn't have our meeting. But I think in those options, some of those were, if we could get some parcels of property and some other things, and we do need to sit down and figure out which way we're gonna go. We just haven't done that yet, I mean, we just found out tonight, we got $150,000 or $1,000, you know?
Right.
We didn't even know if it's viable to spend the extra money.
Could maybe there be a presentation at one of your meetings where you guys kind of go over the 3 options and everybody kind of just feels a little bit better about, you know, what the 3 options are
I
and.
think, it's a public meeting that we're gonna have, you can probably go to the meeting, I'd say.
I don't think we're anywhere near ready to do anything yet. Nothing's been decided.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picturing like, you know, you have a big poster board with option A, option B, option C, and then you
Right.
kind of go, the engineers explain it even.
Right. Well, one option was probably 500,000 plus. We're nowhere near that kind of money. Another one was 350. Now we think we're close to that amount. we're talking, with some local people about in-kind help, people that have equipment, manpower, et cetera. Maybe some volunteers, but.
Presentation might be nice, just
Yeah,
for the.
I agree.
I mean, you got $300,000 now, I guess, I look at it as looking forward to seeing something at the next meeting more than a scribble on a piece of paper that you got three options, you're not sure which one you're gonna go with, cause some people don't want it, some people do.
I don't think there's anybody that doesn't, I haven't had one
Have you
person
asked?
tell me
Have you
they
even
don't
asked
want
the
to do
question?
it. Pardon me?
Have you asked that question to anybody? No, it's just been decided.
We've had a couple of meetings.
I know you've had a couple
Nothing's been
meetings, but
decided.
nobody has not brought it to anybody out here.
Nobody wants to win you, so nobody does.
Actually, this board really,
No, it's
we've
just a
got,
question,
we got
Larry.
committee members on the board that's really, is a real, just starting. And we're very fortunate to have another $150,000 coming from the county's funds.
What shape is the lake in?
Good shape.
Is it? It didn't used to be.
Well,
Last
depends
time
on
I
how
was
far
out
you
there,
go
it was
back.
full of weeds.
Depends on how far you go back. I can remember when they dumped the pickle brine in there, we didn't have any weeds, and it was a beautiful lake.
Oh, I remember too.
Anything else tonight?
I have a question. I'm gonna go back to Birch Shore Drive again. Jordan, have you talked to Mark Christensen lately about completing the project at 6634 and putting that culvert in and getting it drained down to the lake? Because if you go out there right now, the front of the lake where Tony has put hundreds of thousands of dollars into blocking off that dirt is all washed out into the water now after the last two rains we have. And then we got another one yesterday and it's even worse. And
Yeah,
I think
I
they
have-
were supposed to come and put a drain into the lake and I don't think it's ever been done.
I have talked to Mark about that. He said that they were gonna call Tony directly. I have talked to Tony, and he said that they did talk to him, but nothing has been done yet.
Well, no, nothing's been done, that's why I'm wondering if something's gonna be done, 'cause
Yeah,
it's
I will
just
get,
destroyed
I'll get
the
a
water.
hold of Tony again and see what the conversation was, and I'll get a hold of Mark.
Okay, so what does it have to do with Mark doing, cause what he's gonna put it is in the easement, it isn't Tony's property that he's gonna put it on.
What does it, what have to do with Mark?
What does the conversation have to do with Tony that Mark can't continue forward?
Well, he wanted to make sure he's doing, as well as doing what, what the owner wants too. So, I'll talk to Mark again
You
about
can
it.
go look at it, it's a mess,
I
right?
did, I actually have been out there in the past month.
Well, if you haven't been out there in the last 3 days, it's a mess.
I have not.
I was wondering, how does a community member get on one of these committees, or is everything just an appointment, or is it like a old boys club? If you're on a board, you get to be in a committee, or,
We're all elected.
okay,
The seed board and the zoning board of appeals are appointed.
okay. So, how does a community member get, the reason I'm asking, I just don't know, I haven't been involved that long. So I know there was a lake board person that was appointed, there was, Darren was appointed, some, maybe Board of Appeals.
Board of Review.
So there's like other community members that might wanna be a part of a board, but how do they find out that something's available, or?
Well, they should send me an application, whatever board they wanna be considered for.
Okay.
Darren was asked. Considered for what? Like,
Excuse me, let me finish,
Yeah.
please. So, cause I have a lot of questions about this, so how does one find out when a position's available? Because both times that you guys appointed somebody, I didn't know that anything was available, not that I wanted it for myself, but I didn't know about the lake board, I might have applied for that. But, I am on the zoning board of appeals for the village of Lakeview, so, and I know how that came about, so I just wondered how, do you guys advertise or post or anything like that whenever something becomes available? Because even Brandy said that as a planning commission, they would like some subs or something.
ZBA. On the ZP.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
So, how does, now that she's requested that, you guys might decide, yeah, we're gonna do that for the planning commission, and so when is it announced or advertised for anybody in the community that wants to participate? And I don't know if that's the right question or what, but I'm just curious.
That's good. We'd like, just let Todd know that, you're interested in serving on, some of these
In
boards.
some capacity?
Couldn't you just run a little ad in the Lakeview paper, like the board is considering applications for a ZBA alternate?
I mean, our website.
The
We can do that
website,
now.
and we have also, over the years, put in the paper that it's,
We've had,
usually we get no
we've had
requests.
to beg people to serve on committees.
Sure.
The new age.
Well, I just thought about it because of the lake board, being a new lake resident. And then I just noticed that the last thing that came out, it still had John London's name on it. So I didn't know if he was still on the board or that was just a misprint. Cause didn't a Lapink
Yeah,
get,
he resigned
appointed?
in November due to his health.
alright.
It was
And then but nobody knew that until all of a sudden it was announced at a meeting very quickly that Lapink was being appointed. So then I was just curious at that moment, I wonder how you,
Lepink was the township representative, or buddy know.
Yeah, he's township, cause we voted on it.
So Cato board had to appoint someone to fill John's spot, and he had asked about it. There was two people, I think, that had asked about him, and he was one of them. So he was kind of waiting for an opening. And,
Okay.
the lake board had approved that at their last meeting, I think.
No, we didn't have to approve it. It was a
Or
pretty.
you recommended it, I guess.
No, we didn't. We voted in November, put him on, so he's a rep for Cato. So he's just on that.
okay, I was just curious. Cause I had some curiosity about how Joe Sweet even came in the picture, cause I didn't know he was.
He called and asked if he could get appointed, if there was an opening.
Did he have to apply for it, or
He just called and asked, we had no other names.
did we have?
And I
Joe-
did too.
Yeah, we
Joe
Joe
Mays.
That's right.
Yeah, I kinda like to follow Phil's. This is 2022, this is the 21st century. Cato Township is still operating like in the 1800s, as far as communication, publications, knowing what's going on. All this ARPA money, which is, what was that, a Great American Rescue money? Anyway, all this rescue money, why don't we get rescued? Why don't we get a big, nice website going, or add it to the village, which is a nice site, and put up a, up and coming, available, we are now looking for, or taking applications for, all these different opportunities for the public to be engaged and involved, and then, and set up some of the new communication stuff, like video, cameras. Montcalm County got $30 million. You guys don't know where to spend it. And you put the money in the building, let's use some technology. It's out there, it's available, simple, easy, and not that expensive anymore. That's all I'll say.
Anybody else?
So I got a few comments, I'm gonna bounce around a little bit here. First with the trail, I know Joe Sweet isn't in favor of it, so I don't know how many people you actually talked to or discuss it. I don't know where the rest of the planning commission sits on it, I know there is support. I think from most of the people, there's a fear here though, cause you guys have a reputation of getting into things and, you put a roof on with one bid. We're talking about painting with 2 bids, and I would question any kind of bid that you have a number at 3,000, a number at 6,000, either one is missing something or one is price gouging. It's nice to investigate a little bit. That's why that rule of 3, there's a value to it. So with these trails, if you're talking about, I thought it was a 45 or 450,000 was the low ball number, which is crazy low ball. That's Joe Sweet said it's gonna be 2 million. And I think it's very realistic. There's some experience there. If you follow back, I'm familiar with the Ada trails. They started putting in 20 years ago. And it was the same mentality. We'll put in the first 10 miles, everybody will love it, and then the township and the city is gonna pay for the rest of it. We'll get Frederick Meyer to pay for the first bit, But after that, we are gonna pay for it. Has there been any discussion on the maintenance of this? How often? Any price tags with who's gonna be responsible? You know, that's, personally, I don't live on the lake, I could care less, but I don't wanna pay for it. Unless it's gonna bring some money in, I don't think you're gonna charge for parking for people to go biking around the trail. I mean, realistically, the thought you're gonna get it done with the lowest number is dangerous. You're either gonna get a crappy job or it's not gonna get done and the township's gonna end up paying for the rest of it, which, you know, terrifies me. With the comment on, the pole barn, not allowing, the pole barn to go up in Honeymoon Suites, I think that's a great example of, you call that exclusionary zoning, you know, not having too many rules, you know, it's my property, I don't want you telling me what to do on it, you know, try to keep that mentality as we go into our solar ordinance. Nice to have that mentality when we go into the wind ordinance, I don't know if that's how government just usually runs. You know, I look at the stories from our federal government, we pass Obamacare, nobody read it. I'd almost guess half the board up there, nobody read the wind ordinance. Besides the, you know, 4 important numbers that already planned to change probably a year and a half ago. It's just sad to see, so, yeah. It'd be the whole concept of having better planning, it's just transparency. At every level of the government, people are pissed and they wanna know what's going on. So if there's a way of getting people involved online, I would love it if we were still living in the 1900 mentality, but you know, that's not what it is, and yeah, we're in 2022, so I suppose we probably should have updated internet. I think it would be a waste of money, but that's my personal opinion, which doesn't really matter to most people. They wanna be able to have that information in their hand. The internet, you know, would be easiest way to do it. I guess there isn't much of an excuse to not have a updated website. So I'd be very cautious with this trail. Do the research. If you're getting 20 grand into the planning, I would make sure those planners are more researchers than just presentation with big pretty billboards. Personal opinion. So thank you.
I just got one more thing. I wanna piggyback on Phil too. I think that it's really sad to know how many hours that the planning commission has put into this. The wind ordinance that they did like Phil has over 70 himself, and I know that they're not getting reimbursed for 70 hours of wages. And to sit there and say that there's no money to pay them with is crazy, because we have ARPA funds sitting here. If there's nothing else to take it out of fund, you should be able to take it out of there. To give them some kind of a bonus or something for what they've done. Even though you guys vetoed it in the end, they still spent the time doing it, and we spent all the money on the attorneys as well. So I just wanna piggyback off what Phil said. I know they spent hundreds of hours on this.
And going on that, I remember a meeting that Todd was saying that you had to get somebody to help you with all the FOIA requests and what have you, and you were wanting some reimbursement. I do remember that meeting. And the time that they put in, I think that there should be funds somewhere. You approved a bonus for them. Maybe not all five members, because one of them just came on very end of it. But there are only 4 people then that you're looking at. Through that whole period, they put in a lot of time. I think that would be nice, that you can find something to reward them a little bit for their effort. And also on the trails, I initially thought that, cool, I got a daughter that likes to do all physical things, good for her. I've thought about it a lot. You do have, beyond that trail being put in, who's going to be monitoring it? The trash pickup, mowing, trimming along the side, vandalism, drugs. Don't mean to be negative Nancy, but that's the world we live in today. It's gotten quite bad. Is there going to be lighting out there? Benches for people to sit on, probably that type of thing you're gonna have covered, but look at the negatives too before you get too far into this. Make sure you got those covered too, because you're gonna have to pay somebody to take care of all of it.
Anything else?
Kathy Craig, Township. I'm here to support my friends in Cato Township. Also, going off of what Mr. Morrow said here, it's the very least that you could do to reimburse your planning commission members who spent all of that time working on that ordinance for wind, when the majority of the board 3 out of 5, that's the majority of the board, knew you were letting them spin their wheels because you knew you weren't going to accept anything they presented to you if it didn't fit what you had in mind already. But you paid the attorney that you approved and hired. She was spinning her wheels too, but she got paid. The 4 people that spent all of that time spinning their wheels, it's the very least you could do to compensate them for their wasted time, because it's really what they did, is they wasted their time for you. It was really sad to see that last meeting, all the things that transpired. I'm still sick about it. I don't even live in this township. And also, the comment about the pole barns, being in a residential area, so people don't want to be surrounded by pole barns. Of course people don't want to be surrounded by pole barns. I don't blame them. But how then can you look at that group of people and say, well, it's a residential area, we don't want to have them surrounded by pole barns, so we are automatically going to deny, and even if he appeals that, it will be denied. It's wasted his $200, it will be denied. But yet, how many hundreds of comments came your way in the last year and a half about the wind turbines, people not wanting to be surrounded by them, and you completely disregarded them? It makes no sense. And you talk about transparency. I specifically asked you, Mr. Lincoln, at the last meeting, what is your answer? Why? Why did you propose to make all those changes to the wind ordinance? Mr. Barenwald explained his reason for voting no. I believe Joyce did too a little bit. Ms. Geister, you just looked and said, nope, not gonna answer. Again, it's not fair, it makes no sense. You give an answer for the pole barns, but not the wind turbines. It's shocking to me. I feel so bad for my friends in Cato Township. Some people are not here, they haven't been paying that much attention to the meetings, and they were shocked when I told them what you guys did last month, because they didn't think they needed to come to the meetings, because they thought, Cato would never do that, they'd never do that to us. And here we are, so I'm sorry to have to be so forthright, but it's shocking to me. But please pay the planning commissioners, I feel like that's
Anything else?
logical. One more thing, since you're not gonna bring it up, there is a public hearing on Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning at the courthouse for the 350 people that we petitioned to, for recalls, and it's at 10 o'clock on Friday morning at the courthouse.
Anything else?
I got one, before when public comments done, I got one thing to say. The public comment done?
Yeah.
Do you wanna do any of the pledge of allegiance before we adjourn?
You can make a motion.
I'll make a motion to put it on there. Start out with the pledge of allegiance.
Any other discussion?
You got one patriotic person.
Any other discussion?
Yes, I'm here.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Thank you.
Hearing anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Kathy, you know what that is.